Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this video about academic training. My name is Dylan Rasnick, and I'm the Assistant Director of the International Center, and I'm here with
Lisa Fiala. I am the Director of the International Center.
And today we're going to talk to you about academic training and internships as an exchange visitor here at Flagler College. So we'll just get started.
So this might have been something that you have thought about or haven't thought about yet, but we want to make sure that you have all of the information available to you if you're interested in participating in an experience like this while you're here in the United States. Here's an outline of what we're going to talk about today. The International Center contact information, an overview of academic training, eligibility, including health insurance and financing, the application process, maintaining your student status, and some resources we have for you. Right here, you'll find the campus contact information for both Mr. Rasnick and myself. You see our email there, and then under our email is a link that you can utilize to book appointments with either one of us. When you click that link, you'll be able to see all of our availability there. That's kept in live time. So as Mr. Rasnick and I have meetings, we put them on our calendar and it speaks to that link there. So you'll be able to compare it with your schedule and find a time that works for you. And then if you're not aware of where the International Center is located, we are in Wiley Hall. I am in the office with the French doors right when you walk in Wiley Hall, and Dylan is in an office just down the hallway in 107. And there you can see our spring office hours for this semester, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 10 to 12, and Wednesday from 7 to 9 online. We like to reserve those early morning hours for our students that are out of the country. So an overview of academic training, I just need to move my window here for a moment. Employment or practical training experience that's related to your major field of study. It's very important that this experience is related to your major field of study. If it isn't, it will not be able to be approved. It can be full-time or part-time. It can be paid or unpaid training or employment experience with multiple employers to supplement part of your academic program. Participation can be while you're at Flagler for the semester or the year that you're participating in the exchange program, or it can be after the completion of your academic program, as long as you're still on your valid J-1 status. So the important takeaway here is don't just start working for someone without coming to talk to Mr. Rasnick or I first. You have to be approved as participating in part of this program to do it. And you can't just stay on your J-1 visa without approval to participate in this program. Eligibility, primarily in the United States to study rather than engage in academic training, which is what you're here to do right now. So we have that one, we can just tick it off. At the experience, your academic training experience relates directly to your major field of study, like I just mentioned, that you're in good academic standing with both Flagler College and your home institution. You receive written approval from the International Center prior to the start of your training period. This is really important. And if you're participating after the end of the program, your training must begin within the first 30 days after the official program completion date. Time spent in training cannot exceed the time spent in the program of study. So if you're here for a semester or 4 months of study, you can do 4 months of academic training. It can't go beyond that point. So you can't just come to Flagler for one semester and participate in academic training for a year. It needs to equal your amount of study time here at Flagler.
I'm going to start talking about the other specifics for eligibility. To start, health insurance. As you know, as a Flagler student, as an exchange student with Flagler, you need to have health insurance here in the US. If you decide to participate in academic training after your program at Flagler, you will need to also ensure that your health insurance covers beyond the end date of your academic program. So if you got health insurance just for the time you're in the US, but you want to do academic training, you will need to extend or get new health insurance. And here's a little bit about that from Bridge USA. The specific requirements is, again, the same requirements that you have for being a student here at Flagler on the exchange program. So if you are looking to participate in academic training after you graduate, after you complete your program, rather, I encourage you to renew the health insurance you already have because it's already been approved. But if you're looking for new insurance, or the insurance company you have won't cover something after the end of your time at Flagler's campus, you can definitely find other resources by following these guidelines. Similarly to what Ms. Fiala said, you must provide proof of insurance prior to the start of your academic training authorization, and you may use any insurance that falls within the guidelines of the U.S. Department of State. For financing, there's a little bit of a difference between students who participate in academic training during their program and students who participate in academic training after their program on campus. So for the students participating in their academic training during their program, they do not need to show additional financial information because they will not be staying in the US longer than what's originally listed on their form DS 2019. However, if you decide to participate in academic training after your time at Flagler on Flagler's campus, you will be required to show an additional amount of funding, similar to what you did when you arrived to the US. Below is an overview of just one example. If you participate in one semester of the exchange and then you decide to do 4.5 or 4 months of academic training, you must show that you have $10,177. That covers room and board wherever you are living in the US, and then miscellaneous expenses. If you are unable to show the financial capacity, unfortunately, you will not be approved for academic training. We want to make sure that we're setting students up for success, both in their training, but also in their ability to not have to worry about finances in the United States. The actual application process is 5 steps. We've made it into 5 steps. So first is that you as an exchange visitor will need to determine if you are eligible. If you have questions about that, you're more than happy to reach out to me or Ms. Fiala, but it's your responsibility to know if you are eligible. That includes your health insurance and your financing. So like I said earlier, if you're unable to provide health insurance or financing, unfortunately, that means you are not eligible for this program. You will need to receive an offer from a company or opportunity, which means that you cannot apply for academic training at Flagler without a secured internship or a secured job. You need to have the offer in hand before you can apply. You'll need to complete the academic training form, which we'll go over in just a bit. And then you must submit evidence of health insurance, financial eligibility, an employment offer, and the academic training form. So all of the forms I just mentioned in items 1 through 3 to the International Center at least 2 weeks before the end date on your DS 2019. The end date on your DS 2019 is located on the first page, not the backside of your DS 2019. And I cannot stress how important it is to submit these documents at least 2 weeks before. We cannot process academic training requests after your program end date has passed. So please, 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 the earlier you submit, the better. And finally, after you've gone through steps 1 through 4, you'll need to meet with the International Center to discuss maintaining status while on academic training. We're going to go over it on this workshop, but it's also important that you and someone from the International Center, Ms. Fiala or myself, have a discussion about how you're going to maintain your status if you're participating in academic training after your academic program at Flagler ends. So a little bit more about the actual form, which I will show at the end. I have a tab open in my computer. But this form's only available through the International Center staff. So if you are interested in seeing the form for yourself, you can email me or Ms. Fiala or the International Center at flagler.edu email address. But there are 3 parts: student information that you fill out, program information, i.e. Information about the internship or job opportunity, and then chair of your Flagler College department, not the chair of your department back home. So you'll need to make sure you build a relationship or speak with the chair of your department at Flagler to talk about whether the internship opportunity makes sense for your degree in the sense of in the US. You must have an offer from an opportunity to apply, and then you must be able to answer the following questions or prompts rather. What are the goals and objectives of the specific training program? How does the program relate to your major field of study? And then how is the training integral or critical to your academic program? You might be able to answer some of these, but again, the reason why we ask you to meet with the chair of your Flagler College department is because they might be able to assist you in determining the responses to those questions. So maintaining status while you are on academic training. If you are participating in academic training during your time on campus, so during your 1 semester or 2 semesters with us, essentially all of the same rules apply. If you change your address, if you change your phone number, if you travel internationally, or if you decide to end academic training before the end of the semester or 2 semesters you're with us, please let me or Ms. Fiala know. We need to be made aware of that. And respond to International Center communications, and make sure you have valid immigration documents, so passport, visa, and DS 2019. The same rules apply if you are no longer on campus participating in your academic training. So if you have completed your semester or 2 at Flagler and you're participating in academic training outside of Flagler, the same rules apply. So you need to tell us if you change your address, if you change your phone number, if you're ending academic training prior to the original date that you have decided, the original end date, and if you plan to travel internationally. The difference for people who are participating in academic training after they finish their program at Flagler is that they also will need to provide us with an alternate email address so that we can get in contact with them in case something happens to your Flagler email. For academic training, you can be anywhere in the US. So that's a wonderful opportunity for you, but it makes communication all the more important. Similarly, for individuals participating in academic training after their program ends, they need to have a passport that has at least 6 months worth of validity past the end of your academic training end date. And they need to have a valid visa still and a valid DS 2019, particularly if you're going to travel internationally while you're on academic training. So here are a few of the resources that we mentioned. The academic training packet, which I'll show at the very end so that we don't have to go through several different browsers. Bridge USA, which is the new name of the exchange program in the US, has a handy tool about the J-1 program that talks about academic training. USCIS, which is a great resource for you all to look into. The exchange visitor program, J-1 visas, on the Flagler College website has information. And of course, you can schedule a meeting with me or Ms. Fiala as another resource. We're more than happy to talk about your unique situation with you one-on-one. So thank you for this portion of the workshop. And before we go, the last thing I'll do is share the academic training packet with you all. So you can see it right here. Lovely. Apologies if you hear beeping. There's a car that apparently needs to be unlocked. But this is what the academic training form looks like. It includes 4 different sections, and it also has a reminder of items that you need to submit to the International Center. It goes over the regulations per the US Department of State. So the official regulations for medical insurance, again, the overview of what we talked about in the PowerPoint, and then the exact text from the US Department of State Exchange Visitor Program insurance requirement. So this is a handy thing to read so you know exactly what is expected of your health insurance, particularly if you are participating in academic training after your after your time on campus, whether that be 1 or 2 semesters. So more about the health insurance. An overview of the estimated cost of living, again, for those participating after their experience on our campus, including explanations as to how we got the numbers that we did, because I know the price tag might seem like a lot, but there's a reason for the $10,000. If you are here with a spouse or children or a partner of any nature like that, and they are with you on a J-2 visa, you will need to increase the amount of funding, just like you increased the amount of funding when you arrived to the US. This is the actual form, your information, the program information, and then the signature from your department chair at Flagler. A reminder of the affidavit of financial support. Again, you should have seen this form in your initial immigration advising to Flagler, but a friendly reminder of what it looks like. And then health insurance verification if you do not choose one of the pre-approved health insurance companies from the International Center. So this is what you would submit in addition to proof of employment to the International Center to go through the academic training authorization process. And that is all I have. I'm not sure if you have any final words, Ms. Fiala, but
I think only to say that we obviously want to support you and let you know of all of the options that are available to you as an exchange student. This might be something very interesting for you, or you might be full up on all your courses and classes and cultural things that you're taking and part of here. And that's totally fine. But we're here. And if you have questions, please reach out to Mr. Rasnick or myself. We're happy to talk with you at any time. But again, these packets, this information, this video exists for you, so you can rewind it, you can play it back, you can pause your screen, you can look at what information we're giving you. So just let us be a resource for you and let these tools that we're providing to you be a resource as well. But we're so happy you're here, and we'll do everything we can to support you during your time at Flagler.
And beyond if you do academic training after you complete your program. So with that, I'm going to end the recording and happy watching. Bye.
Bye.